I'm 19 years old and I'm skinnier than I've ever been, which is the one good thing to come from having had a nervous breakdown while watching a subtitled Japanese art house film. Now I'm sitting in the waiting room of Bennett Geyer Evangelical Psychiatric Institute, a waiting room decorated in hushed tones, as if being careful not to offend its disturbed occupants, waiting to find out if the people here can save me. At any other hospital, they wouldn't understand my issues, but here at Bennett Geyer, as they proclaim on all of their marketing materials, the Bible comes first. And to prove it, the letter T from Bennett is formed into a cross. And that cross has a teeny weeny little Jesus hanging from it. The receptionist calls my name and directs me to a door labeled admittance, where I meet Stephanie, a modest featured woman in a mint green prairie dress who is the type of pretty that passes as kind, the type of woman I dislike immediately, despite my inability to pinpoint any crime. Stephanie smiles as if I'm a handicapped girl she is welcoming to a potluck, then gestures to a chair with yet another cross, this one needle pointed into the upholstery, and asks me to explain why I wish to admit myself. I say that I am experiencing extreme anxiety about my eternal destiny, that I'm terrified I lost my salvation or was never saved in the first place. I tell her that I accepted Jesus into my heart when I was 5, but I was never sure if I'd done it right. And then 3 months ago, I went to see the Kurosawa film Dreams at the Student Union, and I freaked out, all my old fears about salvation flooding to the surface of my consciousness like rot from some scary, repressed, born-again sea. I tell Stephanie, it turns out Kurosawa intended the film's images to evoke fears of the afterlife, so mission accomplished with this gal. Stephanie remains focused. Oh, yes, you have to be careful with film. Then she makes this weird clicking sound and winks with both eyes. I plow ahead, spewing out words at Stephanie, feeling like I've been holding my breath for months, grateful and embarrassed to be releasing it in such strange, satisfying spurts, even to a woman in a prairie dress whom I instinctively hate. I tell Stephanie that the thing that's driving me crazy now is I do believe in Jesus, but I don't know if I believe in Jesus enough. Like, it seems like belief is on a spectrum. Like, this might not be the best example, but I believe that Pluto is the 9th planet from the sun because scientists say so, but sometimes scientists are wrong. The whole Copernicus, Galileo thing. And then on the other extreme, like, I really don't believe that Elvis is alive. There seems to be tons of evidence to confirm his death, toilet seat, pants around his ankles, horrible. But again, I could be wrong. The National Enquirer sure thinks I'm wrong. They think Elvis is living in Barbados in an underground society run by rock musicians who have conquered death. So basically, I know this is not the best way. But my belief that Jesus is the Son of God is somewhere between the two. Between believing that Pluto is the 9th planet from the sun and believing that Elvis is alive. I do not expect what comes out of Stephanie's mouth next, which is, yes, but Pluto is the planet closest to the sun. And I said, no, that's Mercury. And she said, no. I think Pluto is the closest. And I said, well, not according to scientists. And she says, you sure? And I said, well, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure or positive about anything. Either are scientists. That's the exact point I'm trying to make. It seems like belief is on a scale, that everyone believes any proposition to a certain extent and also doubts it to a certain extent. Stephanie considers this and then shakes her head. You sure like to make things complicated, don't you? I take the only option that seems possible in the moment. I shrug my shoulders and say, yeah, I guess I do. Stephanie fingers the cross around her neck as if flaunting her own unconflicted faith, and explains that here they focus on God's love and not on his wrath. And I want to say that's even worse, Stephanie. If you believe in God's wrath, you should be focusing on it. You don't get points for ignoring the horrors of your leader. It's like the Nazis saying, sure, we have concentration camps and perform unspeakable experiments, but that's not what we focus on. We focus on our Aryan youth education programs and raising funds for veterans' widows and the hope for a better, brighter, sunshinier future for the German people. But of course I don't say this. Instead, I smile at Stephanie in an attempt to screw my face into an endearing expression of, well, Mittermeier is the perfect place for me, then. Stephanie asks if I have any physical symptoms related to my anxiety. And I tell her I'm pretty much nauseous all the time, that I don't want to eat anything ever, and when I do eat, I can't always keep it down. Stephanie stops me. Interest piqued, a detective with a juicy clue hot on the trail. What do you mean you can't always keep it down? And I say, well, I vomit. Stephanie glows with the satisfaction of having penetrated and expertly solved a case. You look in the mirror and you see someone who is fat. I protest, no, I don't think I'm fat. But Stephanie smiles, satisfied. She's been down this road and knows the signposts. She loves them. She is a creature who is certain, a creature I will never be. She says, you don't think you're fat, you know it. Isn't that what you mean? And I object weakly, no, I'm really not that concerned about my weight. Stephanie smiles, triumphant, certain, sailing on the high of it all. Denial is the most common characteristic of bulimia. You are a beautiful young woman, and Jesus loves you just the way you are. Plus, Maggie, and then she taps her teeth with her finger, vomiting strips the enamel. Then, from out of nowhere, like some weird, born-again, sleight-of-hand artist, Stephanie suddenly produces a full-length mirror. It's behind her desk. Maggie, I want you to look in this mirror and tell me what you see. I tell her I see myself and that I think I look fine. Okay, well, but we all have things that we don't like about ourselves, right? I wheeze a deflative sigh before replying, yes, definitely, but so tell me what you don't like about yourself. I figure if I go along with this, I will eventually be able to turn the conversation to what I want to talk about, my salvation, my eternal destiny, and the fact that I may be tortured eternally in a horror show that never, never ends. But I play along, okay, I guess I wish my upper lip were thicker. When I smile, it kind of rolls up like a window shade, displaying my gums like I'm doing some stupid commercial for my orthodontist who I never really liked. Never mind. Stephanie says, tell me more. And I say, I don't know, I just like when I smile, it makes me look simple. Simple? Well, you know, simple like, I don't know, like retarded. You feel retarded? No, I just mean I look that way when I try to control my upper lip. Never mind, I shouldn't have said anything. Maggie, listen to me. You can tell me anything. Stephanie places her hand on her breast and bows her head as if humbled by the generosity of her own Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. I want you to look in that mirror and tell me how you feel about your weight. I give an obligatory glance and say, I see a girl who is skinny, actually very skinny, very tall, a very tall, skinny girl who looks very freaked out, as if her life is just exploded in her face like some nightmare evangelical ballpoint pen. Then, trying to add some levity, I pat the side of my thighs and say, I mean, of course there are these. I can't escape the curse of the Rowe lady saddlebags. Stephanie leans forward, unable to contain her giddiness. Tell me more about this curse. And I say, well, it's not really a curse. That's just what my mom and her sisters call it. The curse of the Rowe lady saddlebags. I was just trying to be funny. I don't know why I keep doing that. Defense mechanism. Maggie, therapy is about going to the difficult places and not running away from them. So tell me about saddlebags. And I say, oh, it just refers to, it's like when your upper thighs kind of stick out. I don't know the derivation. It probably comes from like a saddle on a horse. And then I just drop it and I say simply, determined not to mess up the chance I wish I didn't have to take, Stephanie, I'm really not in great shape. I'd really like to be admitted as soon as possible. I really don't know what else to do, and I don't know where else to go. Please. Stephanie beams, purring in sympathetic misinterpretation of my plight. I'm glad you're ready to get help with your body image. Someday you will look in the mirror and love yourself like Jesus loves you. Plus, we're all not meant to be a size 6. And you'll get to keep those pearly whites for the pearly gates. I hold back my gag reflex, my desire to strangle Stephanie, and think, I am a size 6. And then obediently fill out the admittance forms and sign my name.